Guys, I'm back. So this is a video that I've wanted to do for a very long time. It's a video that is very important to me, and it's something that's very near and dear to my heart, and it's something that I had written down on my list of videos that I wanted to make, but I just never got around to it or whatever. I just it's a video that I want to do it kind of justice. Because if many of you may or may not follow me on my Twitter or on anything like that, my handle is at dupes127. That's at DUPS127. On basically Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter. That's basically my handle for all social media. But whether or not you know me on there or not, I'm a very, very, very big fangirl. So obviously, that means I'm a big, big fan of TV shows, celebrities, actors. I follow a lot of them on Twitter, on Instagram. I'm a big, big fan of a lot of TV shows. I watch every TV show imaginable, and there's more that I want to watch, but I'm trying to pace myself so I don't overdo it with too many TV shows, because I get so involved with TV shows that if I have more than one going on, it's very difficult to do. But the reason why I'm here specifically today is because I want to talk about one specific celebrity that I adore, love, worship, look up to, idolize, role model, whatever you want to call it. Basically, she is all of that and more. And she's from a TV show called The Walking Dead. Her character is Carol, and her name is Melissa Mcbride. So this is a very big video for me, because I'm opening up kind of part of my heart, and I'm kind of being very real and honest here with how I feel about her and everything that she's done for me. So I've just get into it. So I've basically been a fan of hers for about 4.5 years now. I think I started watching the show on the internet because my brother was a big fan of it. I started watching it, I believe it was 2012. The mid to late summer of 2012, I started binge watching the first, I think, 2 or 3 seasons. Online on the computer, because obviously it wasn't airing, and I had never really heard of it, so I just started watching it because I needed a new TV show at that time to start watching, and that just seemed like a good option. So I started watching it, and right away I was very much drawn to the character of Carol, because without getting into the storyline, but she was kind of like a character that was more weak and timid, kind of ordered around by her husband, and her husband passed away, and she slowly but surely found her strength, found the person she was always meant to be, the person she always was, and became this badass character who now is kicking ass, killing zombies. She's just amazing, 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 and I just was very much drawn to her from the very beginning. The very, very beginning, when her husband was still around, her husband was still bossing around and hitting her, but I was still very much a fan, because I just said, this person is so kind, she's so sweet, and right away I was drawn to her. So of course I started looking up the actress. I'm who plays her? She plays this character very, very well, and who is this person? So of course I realized right away, I'm okay, it's Melissa Mcbride. So of course I was Googling her, I was going on all the different websites to learn as much as I could about her, because I just felt very drawn to her, and I thought she was an amazing actress, because she made me believe her character so well. So of course I was automatically drawn to her. So I started following. I had a Twitter at that point in time in 2012, but I barely used. I think I created it, and I never went on it for 6 months at a time. I don't even think I remember my password the first time. I had to reset my password because I couldn't even remember. So obviously, like I said, I hardly went on, but I went on because I wanted to see if she had social media. So right away, I found her, and of course, she was not verified. The little blue check mark was not verified yet at that time. And my brother kept saying, it's probably not her, it's probably not her, she's not verified, it's not her, and I get that. But she was not a super, super well-known actress, so I kind of believed maybe it was her. But you know what, let's have some faith, because hope is everything, right? So I just started following her and said, you know what, if it's her, great. If not, then cool, I'm socializing and talking to some cool person, don't know who it is. So right away, in 2012, I followed her. She wasn't really online a lot. I didn't really interact with her a lot. But the very first tweet I ever got from her, so I tweeted her, was on December 7th, 2012. And the reason why I remember that so vividly is because that was my birthday. December 7th was my birthday. So she was online, she was active. I was actually at work in my office. I had the door closed. I was on lunch break, and I was eating, and I was on my phone, and I saw that she was online. So right away I was like, I'm going to tweet her. This is my first opportunity since I became a huge, huge fan that she's been online. I'm going to tweet her. So I tweeted her saying, oh my God, Melissa, you know, it's my birthday. I would love to have a birthday tweet from you. And sure enough, within a small amount of time, it was very quickly, she replied like, happy birthday. And it was actually amazing. Like, she had little musical notes there, and it was like, happy birthday to you, have a great day, or something like that. And right away I was like, oh my God, like, she literally just tweeted me. That was my very first tweet on December 7th, 2012. And I cannot tell you enough how excited I was at work. On my birthday, I got a tweet from somebody who I was like, oh my God, this is Melissa Mcbride. This is a person who plays my favorite character on my favorite TV show. She just tweeted me on my birthday for the very first time. Now, that same year, 2012 was a really good year for me, because that same year, since December 7th to New Year's Eve, I was tweeting her back and forth, and she was online, she wasn't online, but again, the fact of the matter was that I still was very much tweeting her. And I think it was New Year's Eve in the morning, I had tweeted her, my goal for 2013 is to get Melissa to follow me, and I had tagged her in that tweet. So I'm like, I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do to make you look at me and say, this girl is interesting, I'm going to follow her. Just a heads up, for 2013, that is my goal. I'm going to make you want to follow me or something, right? So I had tweeted her that on New Year's Eve of 2012, just as like, you know, early morning, afternoon time. So I was out at an event for New Year's Eve, and I was sitting at this table, and it was like about 5 minutes to the countdown. So it was like, you know, 11:55 at night. So I'm like ready to go into the dance floor, start dancing, and start getting ready for the countdown. I see a notification on my phone. Like 12 hours after I tweeted Melissa, it said, Melissa Mcbride now follows you. Holy shit. Okay? Like, it's 5 minutes before the countdown of a brand new year. My goal for 2013 was to get her to follow me. It is still 2012, and Melissa has already followed me. Like, I'm like, holy shit. Like, is this for real? Is this real life? Like, is this real life right now? Like, I was like, how am I supposed to function right now? So sure enough, like, my friends were like, come on, Lauren, come on, Lauren. At this point, I'm still staring at my phone, going onto her Twitter profile and seeing Melissa Mcbride, like, follows you next to her name. I'm just like, and at that point, Melissa Mcbride only had, I want to say I was, you know, 15,000 followers at that time. That's all she had, 15,000 followers, okay? And she wasn't verified, nothing, but she followed me. So I was like, oh my God. So that night, needless to say, I partied my brains out, so happy, so excited, on cloud nine that my favorite actress followed me before 2013 even happened. Long story short, without getting into what's happened from 2013 to now, 2017, I've had a multiple amount of tweets, favorites, all these different things. I cannot tell you enough, okay? So I'm not going to go through all the different tweets that I've had from Melissa, because there's been many of them. Needless to say, they've all been as special as the very first one. What I really want to speak about is Melissa as a person. So 2013 rolls around, you know, it's still very fresh. I'm still a fairly new fan of Melissa's. I believe 2013 was also the year that Melissa did get verified. I don't exactly remember when, but she did eventually get verified, and I was one of the first people to notice it. I noticed that I was at work, and I happened to go on her profile, and I noticed that she had a blue check mark, and I freaked out, because I'm like, now, for the last, like, how many months, at least now I know I've been talking to the right person the whole time, and it's not some person pretending to be Melissa. It literally is Melissa Mcbride from The Walking Dead. So that was kind of like, whew, thank God, or else I would have wasted all these months freaking out over nothing. So sure enough, I tweeted her saying, congratulations, you're verified, blah, blah, blah. She came online, like, shortly after and said, oh my God, thank you guys, this is awesome, blah, blah, blah. It really is me. Like, there's been numerous times throughout that time before she was verified where she's like, I swear to God, it's me, it's Melissa, it's me, I promise you. But again, until it's verified, you just never really know. You can't trust people these days, to be honest. So I was really excited for her. She was excited. It was great. So 2013 rolls around, and I had never really been to a Comic-Con. I did end up going to a Comic-Con that year in May to meet Norman Reedus, who plays Daryl in The Walking Dead, in Detroit, which is really, really cool. But still, he was actually one of all my other favorites as well. Big fan, still am. But it's not the same than if you're meeting the person that you ultimately want to meet, which is Melissa. So I went in May, and that was like a good start to get, like, that was my very first Comic-Con. That I never thought I'd be a Comic-Con girl. I actually had teased my brother for going to one a couple years prior to that. Funny how, like, things turn out. Right now, I'm the Comic-Con nerd. Whatever. Cool. I embrace it. Comic-Con nerd here. So, I go to the one in May. I learned a lot about cons. I went there kind of not having any idea how to do a con, what to order and buy online before the con. I had no idea. So obviously I learned a lot and took that with me moving forward to other cons. Obviously my ultimate was Melissa Mcbride, trying to meet her at a con. She really didn't do many cons at all. The cons that she was doing was either in Europe or on the other coast. Like I live on the East Coast kind of, and all the cons she was doing was more on the West Coast or like very far from me. Financially I couldn't do it. And obviously Europe is a big no for me because that's super expensive for me who lives in North America. So, in Canada. So obviously I was like, not gonna happen, right? So I just kept praying and praying and praying. Then a company created a con. They're now a lot bigger, but they're called the Walker Stalkers. It's the Walker Stalker Convention. They did their very first con in 2013 only in Atlanta. They started off only doing that con. That was their very first con. The very first year was only in Atlanta. And for years, like the first year or so following that, they only had one con, and it was in Atlanta every around Halloween time. Now they're a lot bigger. They do cons all around the country, around the world, and they're expanding, and I'm happy for them. But there was nothing like the very first con because it was a smaller convention. Nobody really knew about it, and it was more closer knit, and you had more time with the celebrities, and it didn't feel as rushed. But that's a whole nother story. Still love the con. I still go every year. I love Walker Stalkers. I enjoy it. I'm so happy that they've given me a platform. They've given me something that I can communicate and meet with my celebrities. I am nothing but grateful for it. So don't get me wrong, I am nothing but grateful for it. And I understand that Atlanta, out of all the cons they do, Atlanta is the biggest, the most requested, and the one that most people go to. So I get it's a lot to handle. So I am by all means not complaining. I love that con, and I'm so grateful for them. If it wasn't for them, I would have never met my idol, my favorite person in the whole entire world. So 2013 rolls around, and I think it was around summertime, and I had noticed that I had followed the Walker Stalker people because they had a podcast. So I'd listen to them because they would often interview Melissa. Melissa was really close with them, and they would do interviews with her, and I would listen to the podcast because I'm like, it's Melissa, why wouldn't I, right? Any interview, anything, I'm on it. If Melissa's in it, I am on it, okay? So sure enough, they had announced that they were going to do a convention, and it was in Atlanta. And to me, I live in Canada. I live in Ontario, Windsor, Ontario, but it's basically close to Toronto. So it's a good 10 plus hour drive to Atlanta. The flight itself was kind of expensive, and I never thought that I'd be able to travel there. I was like, this is too far for me. Why can't you come to Canada? Why can't you come to Toronto? Why can't you come to Detroit? So in my heart, I was like, oh my gosh, she's finally doing a convention. She's doing a convention by people who I listen to the podcast. It's all Walker Stalker Con. It's not just any convention. It's Walker Stalker specific. So it's Walking Dead show specific. It's a convention tailored to people specifically, well, at that time, specifically to The Walking Dead and other zombie-related shows. Now they've expanded and they've had other people from other shows, not just zombie-specific. But it started off specifically towards that, and I was all about that because it was Walking Dead or nothing at that time. So obviously, I was like, I need to go. But I had given up hope right from the start, thinking, I'm not going to go, I'm not going to go. And then some switch turned in me and said, you know what, Lauren, just ask. At that time, it was like 2013. So I was a little bit younger. I had never really traveled on my own. I was in my like early 20s. So of course I was like, you know, I need to go. I need to like figure out a way of doing this. I don't know who else would go with me, but it was around, I think in the first year it was in November, and my birthday's in December. So I'm like, if I can kind of swing this to get my mom to go with me financially, and say, this could be my birthday trip. You can pay for whatever you want to pay for the trip. I will pay the rest off myself. I will pay whatever you don't want to pay. But this is my ultimate birthday present. I need nothing. I don't want anything else. I want to meet Melissa. This is my only chance. Like, please come with me. Please, let's do this. Even if you don't even pay anything, I don't care. I will pay for my own share. Don't worry about it. Just come with me and be somebody to come with me and be my guest person, and that will be a birthday present in and of itself from you to me. I'd be happy. Like, I will pay everything. My mom was like, so I had this whole plan. I go, okay, I have to see how I'm going to ask. She's probably going to say no. I know my mom. She doesn't like cons. She doesn't believe in being a big fangirl. She lets me do my thing, but she doesn't necessarily agree with it or whatever. So that's fine. You know, to each his own, right? But I'm like, I have to find a way to swing this. Like, I was rehearsing this in my head about how am I going to ask her, what am I going to say, how am I going to say it, because I wanted to be able to go. And I had rehearsed it in my head so much, and sure enough, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. Like, it was literally making me sweat. I was nervous. I was freaking out. I'm like, okay, what am I gonna say the first time she says no? I'm gonna have to do something and beg her and beg her and beg her. But it's gonna take probably 3 or 4 times of me begging her and me asking her for her to say yes. So sure enough, I made this whole plan. And I was like, I'm gonna do it. It was the summertime. My mom had come home at 12 o'clock because I was home that day. I wasn't working. I wasn't doing anything. So my mom came home at 12 o'clock to grab some dinner or some lunch because she goes to work and she doesn't work too far from home. So she was going to come home, grab some lunch, hang out for about an hour, and then go back to work. So I'm like, it's now or never. It is now or never. It's something that's been weighing on me. I'm not sleeping at night. I need to know what she's going to say. Like, if she says yes, I need to know now. So she comes home like, hey, Mom, like, can I talk to you for a second? And then she's like, what? I'm like, I kind of have a pitch for you. I want to pitch something to you and see what you say. And she's like, oh, God, what? Right? I'm like, okay, listen. I'm a big fan of Melissa Mcbride, and I love The Walking Dead. And she had come with me to the Motor City Comic Con in May to meet Norman. She had come with me to that one. So I'm like, maybe since she's got experience with that one, maybe, who knows, right? So I'm like, let's see if I can get her to go with me to this one. It was a lot cheaper because I didn't have to stay in a hotel. I didn't have to fly. I drove to there, and I was there for one day. I met Norman, took a picture, got an autograph, and came back. It didn't really cost us anything at all. But the Atlanta one, it was going to cost us for the hotel. We're going to go for a couple of days. Gas, because at that time I had planned on driving. So anyway, she came home, and I was like, okay, this is what's going to happen. I go, you know how I love Melissa, and you know how I'd love to meet her? I go, well, they're doing a con in Atlanta. And it's in November, beginning of November. So I was really wondering if you'd want to come with me like you did for Norman in May. And that could be my birthday present because it'll be literally a month before my birthday, this con. So your gift to me would be coming with me, keeping me company so I could meet my role model, my idol, my favorite person in the entire world. And that would be my birthday present. I don't want anything else. I don't need anything else. This is what I want. This is what I need. I've already planned it out. We'll go this day. We'll come back this day. It's a 10-hour drive because I didn't want to spend money on a flight at that time because my mom and I aren't financially in the best of spots. We weren't, at least then. Still not so much now, but at that point I was also still in school and all that other stuff. So I'm like, listen, like, we'll drive. We'll take turns driving. I'll drive for a couple hours, then you drive, then I drive, then you drive. It's a 10-hour drive. We'll leave early in the morning. We'll get there at night, and we'll just take turns and whatever. And my mom kind of looked at me, and this is where I knew she was like, she's going to say no, and I'm going to have to keep trying. I'm going to have to try again tomorrow, the day after, and break her down until she says yes. She basically looked at me and said, Lauren, is this what you want? And I said, yes, this is what I want more than anything. And she goes, all right, you book everything, you look into it, you do what you got to do, let me know the prices, and I will pay for the hotel, I will pay for your ticket, but if you want to buy souvenirs and other stuff, that's on you. I will pay for meals for your birthday. This is your birthday present. I said, even birthday and Christmas, combine it together. I don't even care. This is all I want. So she said, this is what you want. Done. She went back to work, and I literally freaked out. Like, I can't even tell you how much I freaked out. I was screaming. I was crying. I was like, if anyone had seen me, they would have called like somebody to get help because I was freaking out because in my head I had already said, oh cool, they announced Melissa's going to this con. I'm never going to meet her. Why do I care? So I had already told myself it wasn't going to happen. So when it did, I freaked out. Completely and totally freaked out. So of course then I told myself, oh my God. So right away I went on Twitter and I was like, oh my God, guys, I'm going to meet Melissa. And like I was tweeting Melissa. I'm like, I'm going to see you in November. This is going to be amazing. Like I automatically put the countdown in my Twitter like name. I had my name and I had the days like counting down like 90. It was like, I think I started in the 90s. It was like 99 days till I go. 90, like every day I'd wake up and the first thing I did was change the number and count down. So I did that. I was freaking out. Oh my God, I never thought that would even happen, right? So of course that was like, she goes to work and that happens. So